we're going to break out into groups of 7 to 10 people. Each group needs to choose a moderator to report back when we come back to the main session. So once you've chosen your moderator, we're going to give you about 6 minutes for each of you to get to know one another, maybe introduce yourself. And then for the next 12 minutes, you're going to talk about 2 questions, okay? Everyone, hang on, these are the questions. The first question is which one of the human flourishing domains does your program promote the best? So what we'd like you to do is share that, and share how you do that. So I'm going to go over the domains. First one is happiness and life satisfaction. The second one is mental and physical health. The third one is meaning and purpose. The fourth one is character and virtue. And the fifth one is close social relationships. So what we'd like you to do is share with your group which one of those domains do you do the best in your project, and give some ideas to the other grantees so that they can also incorporate that into their programming. That's the first question. The second question is what are the most innovative strategies your program implements to engage youth? Maybe it's the arts, and maybe it's something else that's extremely unique. Let's share with one another. So we're going to break out. I'd like you to pick a moderator. You might want to get to know each other first. And then the chatty Cathys, that might be the person you choose for your moderator. So 6 minutes to get to know one another, choose a moderator, and then you have your last 12 minutes to talk about the 2 questions I just shared with you. And they will be, by the way, written on your screen. You'll see them pop up a couple of times. And then at the end, we're going to come back to our large group, and each group is going to share the takeaways that you discovered in your breakout session.
Thank you, Peggy. I wanted to clarify the questions that you have. My questions are a little bit different than yours, Peggy. I am looking at Field Talk empowering personal agency towards healthy decision-making and thriving. And I have 2. What are the most innovative strategies your program implements to exchange youth? And how does your program empower youth to develop personal agency towards healthy decision-making?
Okay. We're going to go with what you have because you probably have those ready to go into the breakout sessions.
Okay, and we will be broadcasting these questions out to you. So with that, we will go ahead and open up all the rooms.
All right, so we just had an awesome time together just chatting about our different organizations and kind of brainstorming what we do. And so the first question, if you remember, is what are the most innovative strategies that your program implements to engage youth, right? And so I'm kind of going to go down the list of just the breakout sessions and the breakout rooms we had. So if breakout room 1, if someone wants to share from that group what you all talked about.
I think we need the moderator to raise their hand so that they can be unmuted.
Okay.
I'm not sure which number I was in. I'm a moderator for a group, but I don't know which number. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Ashley,
Okay.
it's 10. We're
All
number
right,
10.
10. Oh, 10. Sorry, I'm a little off there, but I'll jump in. I'll jump in.
I got you covered, baby.
Thank you, Michael. That's my friend there.
All right.
Hey.
All right. Yeah. So for innovation, we had several ideas come up. We talked about using Mentimeter as a way to engage young people virtually. We talked about using podcasts, creating podcasts, also through virtual programming, and then also just focusing on doing some like social emotional check-ins with young people. And then one group was working on commercials. So we have more of that technology, incorporating technology into it. For empowerment, really talking about the success sequence seemed to work really well for a number of people. So did role playing, using those examples and just kind of engaging with each other. So those are the key points, just real brief for our group.
Nice. That's really awesome. Thank you, Ashley, for sharing that. I like the fact that you use those check-ins with your youth. I think those are really important just to kind of gauge where they are and how they're feeling. So awesome sauce. So breakout room 10 has now completed their share. So if breakout room 9, we can go in that order.
We would break out room 4. I'll go.
Okay, Monica.
Okay, well, I'm Monica Portley. I was elected to speak for our group, which was group 4. And so some of the strategies we spoke to that we're implementing in our programs are number one, relationship building. We discovered that most of our schools are still in a remote setting, so we want to build relationships. And we listed a couple of those ways. We also too talked about social emotional and how critical it is to identify where the students are and what they're feeling in the moment prior to developing or delivering the curriculum. We want to make sure that we are showing some compassion and care there. The real world experiences, connecting what we're teaching to what they're experiencing. We also talked about music, using different platforms as it relates to Kahoot, Jigsaw, anything with links that the kid will keep the kids active. They don't really like to speak or have their cameras on. And so we wanted to just be certain to have interactives to connect them to learning. We also talked about virtual reality. I know for our sites here, we are engaging in virtual reality and we're kind of front loading to let them see what's coming once they complete the curriculum. And we're talking about the careers, what's next for them and just career building. So those are some of the things we talked about. We did spend some time talking about the curriculums that we use and just sharing there. So in brief, that's what we had.
Nice. I love that. The virtual reality kind of stuck out to me. That's really interesting.
Yes, we were super excited about that year.
Yeah,
Lots of plans.
that's really cool. Alrighty, next breakout room. We're kind of going out of order. If anyone from breakout room 3.
I actually don't know what room I was in, but if nobody's going, I guess I'll share my group. Some of the things we mentioned were one organization just transferred all of their in-person training into PowerPoint slides, and using Zoom, they're able to integrate virtually for their students. And we also talked about in our program, we used a lot of interactive apps and technology incorporated into the program, just like the previous group. We use visual spinners, we use everywhere poll, where they can see the, whatever the similar input they have, the bigger the words get. And students really love stuff like that and incorporating videos. So that's what we talked about.
Nice. I think videos are really an effective tool, kind of like what we've been talking about all day. So thank you, Benny.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tanya has her hand up as well. Tanya Matthews.
I apologize. I don't have my hand up. I was putting my hand down from another session.
Okay, that's okay. All right, well, Vincent, you have your hand up.
I also don't know who I represented, which group, but we had Kelvin, Janice, Linja, and Diana, and a couple others, Penny too, and a few more, Carlene, and one more, I'm forgetting her name. Anyways, Calvin had a really cool thing going on in Atlanta with the Reach Project. They integrate hip hop into everything that they do. They start off days where they're doing hip hop with freestyling. And then they talk about the significance of freestyle and also integrate African-American history, as well as connect hip hop and what they're doing and the lyrics of their songs with the day's curriculum. One thing I really thought was cool is they show examples of songs, both those who have positive messages about healthy decision-making and also maybe not positive or negative messages. And they analyze the art, which is kind of cool. It relates back to the last session we were in about the creation, the freestyle, but also the experience. Janice at Equipping Youth and Powerful Choices in Iowa talked about a number of different initiatives or projects they do. They did a talk show, which was pretty cool, where they really asked the students to think critically about being in situations, unhealthy and healthy relationships, and how they navigate it. She talked about building a life map, which seemed to be like an art program of some sort, talking about how you would transition through different parts of life, like the success sequence, and how do you bounce back from making mistakes. Penny, who is a part of GEMS, Girls Eagerly Maintaining High Standards, she talks about how they do a craft at the end of every month, and it is virtual. One example of a craft is talking about inner and outer beauty, and they make mason jar lanterns, which is pretty cool. So the students have a takeaway, a craft that they do. Linja and Harlem talked about oral storytelling. They have young instructors or people who are building relationship with their students, and they share experiences without, sharing too much details, and it allows students to open up as well. And then Deanna in North Carolina, choosing the best. She talked specifically about a friendship lesson they do, where they talk about the difference between those friends that challenge you to be the best you can be, but also those friends who maybe enable you to do not the best behaviors. So that was some of the innovative strategies from our group.
Very cool. I love that. It sounds like a lot of art going on from all of those different organizations, from music to mason jars to just talking show or a talk show, which is really cool. So thank you for sharing.
I'd like to present, even though I wouldn't want to go after Vincent because I could barely name the people in my team. He was a bit of an overachiever. However, no offense, Vincent, you did great. So for our group, we mentioned, I think it was Lori Childs, actually. Yes, okay, I'm not that bad. She mentioned that she's an evaluator, and some of the organizations that she works with conduct teen expos, where kind of like conferences like what we do here, but for youth, and then they can have breakout sessions based on what their interests are. I'm sure a lot of us had to be innovative even to continue to provide virtual services now. So kudos to us for still being here and to still give this important message to the students and youth that we're serving. It was also mentioned doing role playing, of course, and finding ways to incorporate that in the virtual setting, and also incorporating other subjects that is linked to the success sequence. So financial literacy and helping youth understand the value of how decisions that they make affect their future financially. So that was like what we discussed in our group in a nutshell.
Yeah, that was really cool. I actually was a part of Barbara's group, so I got to hear a lot of that. I think what stuck out to me the most was it was interesting that the students get to choose their path in their expos, kind of like us adults when we, do different conferences and different things. So that was really awesome. Thank you, Barbara, for sharing. Maggie, your hand is up, so please feel free to share.
Hi, I apologize. I don't know what group number we were. We've been chatting, trying to figure it out, but I was with Jay Brownlee and Wendy and Zach and Audrey and Danae. I think I got everybody. But we kind of talked about the important part that we realized when COVID, shut us all down in March, was being able to meet kids where they were at, and realizing that for us at the Ridge Project, kids went completely digital to meet with their friends, to meet, just to have any connection other than their families or what's right in their home. And so we actually started doing video game tournaments where the kids would do they'd sign up for this tournament and they'd have to attend a workshop, and then they could join this video game tournament after that. So we started meeting in there. We started doing a lot of community service. That was one thing we talked about too, is that kids really wanted to be involved. They missed community with each other. So as much as we could safely gather and safely do certain regular things, we would get them involved in community service. And then we also talked about that we also host a film camp. So it's a 1 week in the summer. So we're using film and video to create PSAs and deliver workshops and still reach kids that way as well.
Wow, I love that you were able to kind of think about that and meet them where they are in, just the environment. So video games and then community service. It's awesome that they wanted to do community service, like just connecting and meeting with other young people to do something good in their community. So I think that is really, really awesome. Awesome sauce. Anyone else from another group? I'm kind of aware that we don't really know what groups we were a part of, and that's okay. But if anyone has not had the chance to share what their organization does or what their group kind of chatted about, please feel free to unmute yourself.
Well, I think if all the groups have had a chance to share their takeaways, does anyone else have anything that they'd like to talk about? Anything that they want to add that maybe they didn't hear? That would be really great. I'm thinking, Jonine, do you have anything else maybe that you'd like to share with us just from what you've learned about the Human Flourishing Project?
Thank you for this time. Well, one of the things that we really want to do is we really want to maximize our time, FaceTime with kids. And so we are doing a school saturation approach, meaning that we're training the teachers so the teachers can do the workshops with the kids, where we have a speaker in there. So it's a co-facilitation model. We also are working with the parents. We have Zoom meetings with the parents. We have push messages to the parents at text messages. We've got permission to, they gave us their cell number. We have permission to do that. And we push text messages to them on open-ended questions of human flourishing and how they can help their child, and asking their children the wonder questions. I wonder, what are you curious about? Tell me about your relationships. Tell me about what's happening at school. Open-ended, and kids are really starting to connect with their parents, especially with COVID, because they have no one else to connect with. And so I didn't hear anybody talk about the parental component. We do homework assignments, and we give gift cards, if small ones, $5 Walmart cards or $5 Target cards. Kids don't care. They love getting prizes. And we of course have many of our lessons on video on a remote learning platform. And there's a little test questions, there's little breakout rooms, like everybody's doing. So, and everything that we do is heart, head, and hands. We make them work together. We make them get involved and get engaged. And we're seeing a lot more. What teachers are telling us is when we are involved, cameras go on. Kids are on video. Kids want to hear this. They want to know their love language. They want to know their personality. They want to know, what makes them tick. And it's really fun to touch their heart. We're hearing wonderful stories from kids, how, they're telling us that they feel isolated. We're giving them ideas on how to connect with each other, other than Zoom, other than games, other than videos, stuff like that. So it's really fun.
Wow, I think that's so powerful. I love that you are allowing them to connect with their parents.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very, very important, just because parents are so vital to, their development and their understanding and their worldview. So I think that is really, really awesome. Wow, thank you for sharing.
I just want to share a little story. We had one in particular kid that we said, bring your parent to the camera, bring your mom, and the mom, and they were sharing one chair, and they kept pushing each other off the chair in this playful, funny, we were hysterical. And every time they came back, they wanted to play this little game on that same chair. And it just humor during this time of, this is a hard time. And using humor to even that playful little element of sharing the chair was part of our connection.
Wow, that is awesome. That is truly amazing. Humor can change a lot of things. It
You
just,
bet. You bet.
I work as an instructor for OK Inc. And so I kind of lean on that a little bit just to kind of break the ice with students. So I think that is really awesome.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for letting me share, Peggy.
Is there anyone else? We might have a couple of minutes left. Does anyone else want to share some of the things that they're doing? I know, just like Janine said, this has been a difficult season. I mean, when we think about it, in the state of Ohio, everything closed down March 13th a year ago, and some schools have not opened up again, not at all. So we have students that have not been in the classroom for over a year. There's no way for us to connect with them. But on the other hand, we have schools that are doing, they're doing different things where we've still been able to connect with classrooms. One of the things that we're really surprised about is that the schools are trying to help us figure out how we can connect with their students. So that's been a real pleasure. And as a matter of fact, Deborah Landis, our program liaison, had schools say that we were the only outside group that called the schools and said, what can we do for you? So don't forget that. Call your schools, say, hey, what can we do for you? I know you're all doing that, but just a reminder to call them and see what they need. And then anybody else, please.
Yes.
This is Dr. Clemens. I'll go ahead and share. Dr. Clemens from Kansas City. We're in Kansas City, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, implementing 3 of the S-Ray grants. And we are doing something that's going to be a game changer. We're rolling out in a couple of weeks virtual reality education. That is an expanded version of our Pursuing My Dreams curriculum that Indira Shamari and I wrote. And we teach that in collaboration with Choosing the Best curriculums. And the students will be able to come in a 48-foot trailer that's called ULEAD, Leaders and Entrepreneurs Academy of Dreamers, and the students will be able to do career exploration. They'll be able to look through headsets, virtual reality headsets, and see real world experiences of different occupations associated with the 16 career clusters. They will be able to be immersed within the virtual reality experience. So when they get the textbook learning from the school, and then they go into a VR and see, for example, and I did this myself, I put on the headsets, the hand controls turned into work gloves. I was able to take the lug nuts off of the tire, remove the tire. I watched the board president remove the bolts to the calipers, remove the brake pads, and then remove the rotor and put it all back. So by the time that students get out of virtual reality education, reality, he or she will be able to go into an actual workshop, whether it's construction, whether it's health science. Monica Portley, who's on the staff here with us in Kansas City, I saw her in the heart. We did a periodic table. And so it will be a game changer. Matter of fact, it is a game changer to help young people to be so fully engaged in their learning and pursuing the career that they want to pursue. And so we share at Future Leaders Irish Network, when we are talking to the parents, whose career is it? Is it your career or is it your parents' career? And we tell them, don't disrespect your parents, but know that this is your dream. What dreams do you want to pursue? And so the 48-foot trailer, like I said, is going to be launched in a couple of weeks. And then in the summertime, we're going to get another trailer, and it's called Rolling Video Games Trailer, where students will be able to go in and play fun games, compete with one another, show leadership, show collaboration. There are some soft skills that can come out of just playing these games. And then those students who might want to become a coder or a programmer of these games, they will see that they can turn this into a career. So that's what Future Leaders Irish Network is doing. This relates to scaling up our program, engage the students, take ownership of their future, and then see them all the way through to the end so they can either go to college, go to a career technical education center, or go and work a job so that they can be self-sufficient for the purposes of addressing A and C. We look at A and C as relates to the expanded version of our program for the topics for decreasing poverty and putting these students in high demand and high work, high paying jobs, and to decrease the skills gap that is going on across the nation. So that's what we're doing at Future Leaders Outreach Network.
Wow, that is incredible. Just thinking about the virtual reality, and they're able to do all of those things just right there. I think that is really, really awesome. You hit the nail on the head when you said it's a game changer. That is so interesting because it's interesting to be able to tell a student like, oh yeah, you got all these career options, but they kind of like, it's almost in the dark if they haven't, experienced it or know anyone who's been in it unless they do their own research. But that virtual reality is really, really a cool concept. So I think that's really awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're looking forward to expanding this. So anybody who's interested in replicating this concept, contact me. That's Diana Clemens at 816-985-1338. That's 816-985-1338.
Awesome.
All righty.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Diana. I think
Thank you, Monica.
Ashley has her hand up, and then Kelvin has his hand up also. So Ashley, you can go ahead and unmute yourself, and then
I mean, that's a tough act to follow, but I'll do my best. I'll do my best. So one thing that we're doing, of course, like the virtual thing, like all in on virtual, of course, is new to us. And so we realized that our recruitment efforts really need to be beefed up in a way that we haven't had to do before. Yeah. So we are working with a web developer to create like some social media like products that will help, that will encourage young people to stop instead of swiping, stop, look at this, whatever it is. If it's the quiz, like the We Think Twice campaign, we really think is a great like model and example to use where, the quiz is, or something like, what color is your personality? Like something that gets people to stop and like press the button and then go into that. So we're working with someone to help develop some of those social media products so we can, and then use like optimize, I don't even know all these words, do whatever kind of social media optimization there is. So it's reaching our intended audiences so that we're really focusing, since obviously we can't do in person right now. So we're really trying to figure out what is that best way to effectively reach them online. So that's going to be a really interesting process for us. I wish we would have started it sooner, but we think that even moving forward, even once, things get, kind of normalized more, we're still going to have virtual programs now that we all know we can do it. Mm-hmm. And so this will just help us in the future. And then one just really simple, easy to implement thing that I saw one of our instructors do, and now all of our instructors do it, is, we're starting the virtual program with music. And then like 3 minutes into it, they do a countdown to videos on. So I know this is really simple, but it really tends to work. It does bring more people going video on, 3, 2, 1 to videos on, and they click on. It gives them that moment to be like, all right, I'm here, just kind of center themselves and then be ready to go on. So that's just a really simple, practical thing that one of our facilitators did, and now they're all doing it because it seems to work well with our young people.
Wow, I love that. I think that's really awesome, just kind of giving them that time to get ready. Okay, I'm going to get on camera now. Got to get myself together. And that little countdown gives them that ability to just come to grips with it, right? So thank you, Ashley, for sharing. It's kind of putting us in a position where we have to think on our feet and become more creative. So as interesting and challenging as COVID has been, it's also caused us to step out of our box and think creatively, right? Mm-hmm. I love that. All right, Kelvin, I think you want to share as well.
Appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. Kelvin Walston, Social Director of the REACH program in Atlanta, Georgia, Holistic Stress Control Institute. Tweeta Johnson is our Executive Director. And one element that we've included into our sessions is virtual field trips. With our African American history component, one of our great employees, Ms. Arjalu, has designed a program where we take kids virtually on museum trips or a number of things where they can actually be there in their homes, but visit the museum. We found it to be a very effective tool in addition to our classes. Further, we also strengthen our relationship with the school system and the school district. We have continuously talked to our teachers, text, email. We've dropped by just to say hello we've nurtured the relationship. I think oftentimes they get overlooked. We just look at this as we bringing them a product and they should embrace it. We make sure we encourage the teachers and the administrators and show our thanks and gratitude for everything. Also, we do the hip hop and African American history. That's our uniqueness. We incorporate that. The music thing, we freestyle for 5 minutes, or we let the kids freestyle. We bring in guest speakers, they make tracks. So we've made a few tracks in class. Or for you who don't know what tracks are, that's a beat. So we had one of our consultants to make a beat, and the kids actually rhyme or they sang to it. So we make it interactive, we make it exciting, we try to keep it live, and we keep it with current events. So anything that's happening in the media, we talk about it. And we use Real Essentials facilitation guide. And that's been very helpful. They allow us to be flexible, and we definitely like that. In addition to that, we just make sure the kids are motivated and eager to learn new things. Thank you for letting me share.
Yes, of course. That's really awesome. So just kind of going back to that music component, just being able to incorporate them and make music with them. That's really cool that they can freestyle. Freestyle is hard. It's not that easy to think about words on the spot. So I think that's really cool that you kind of like get to interact with them and see their personality come out in those ways. That's really beautiful. All right. I think we have a few more minutes left. If anyone else is eager to share, please feel free to unmute yourself.
Well, we're looking forward to everyone coming back tomorrow. Looks like it's going to be a great day, no matter which track you're in. And I think there's a lot for us to learn and share this week. So this has been it's a very exciting opportunity. And hey, just a little plug, the national conference is coming up, and I think the abstracts are, if you haven't submitted an abstract and one of these fabulous ideas that you're sharing, why don't you submit an abstract for the national conference? That would be great for us to, explore whatever, the things that you've mentioned today, even a little more. So I just want to encourage that.
Mike Ellison, I have a question. All of the ideas that have been shared today, is there a way to get a transcript or something of all of that information? I don't know if I know they recording it, but I didn't know.
I think that's a really good idea, and that might be something we can ask the people who are hosting this, if they're able to provide some feedback with regard to the things that we've been talking about. But definitely.
I think it's a really good idea that we can share like this, because we don't get too many opportunities to do this, and all of us are trying to do this thing. So it's great to hear other ideas that you can use yourself.
Well, I would definitely
there's no reason to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. And I would put that in when you go and fill out your critique of today, maybe put that in the comments. Hey, is there any way we can get a follow-up? And Michelle might know the answer to that. Hi, Michelle. She's back.
She popped up, didn't she?
Hi.
Hi.
Speaking of feedback, Julie has dropped the survey link for today in the chat box. And I just want to say thank you all so much for all your feedback. We've still got a few minutes, but one of the benefits of the virtual training that I've just realized today is everyone is able to hear everyone else's conversations, whereas we would not have been able to go around to the different tables and hear this if we were in person. So one day we'll all get to meet together again, but for now, this has just been so helpful. And we definitely take your feedback seriously, so do include that, Michael and others. So Julie's got the survey link there, and tomorrow, and Labrita has got a comment there. We can work with the contractor to provide a list of ideas and perhaps post them to the comments page. Thank you, Abrita. We're going to meet back tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern time, and we're going to hear about some updates to the We Think Twice campaign that you can access on the exchange.